you ever have one of those weeks where you are so tired you can't rest? You collapse on the couch with your phone and your to-do list, hoping that one will quiet your brain. It's not laziness, that is exhaustion, pretending to be control. Because when your worth is tied to performance and your time runs on reactivity, your energy has nowhere to go but coping. The glass of wine, the scrolling, the busyness that looks productive but leaves you empty. They are not the problem. They are the symptoms. And today we are talking about why you keep ending up here, stuck in survival mode, even when you are doing everything right. Hey, I'm Mary Ashley, and welcome to the podcast. I'm an executive coach to high capacity women, especially working moms who want to be present at home and succeed at work, and do both really, really well. Over the last few episodes, we have talked about the two big defaults that drain us. When you do not have an intentional system in place, your worth defaults to performance, your time defaults to reactivity, and now the third and sneakiest default of all, your energy defaults to coping. Because the truth is, burnout is not caused by doing too much. It's caused by doing too much of the wrong things. Let's say what's really happening. You wake up already behind. You spend the day running on adrenaline instead of purpose, responding to whoever yells the loudest. Slack, kids, notifications, calendar invites, the growing mound of laundry. By the time the evening hits, you're spent. You crave quiet, control, comfort, maybe chocolate, something. So you scroll, or you pour the drink, or you organize the pantry because it's the only space you can actually finish. What a good feeling. And for 5 minutes or so, you feel better. Then the guilt hits, or something like anxiety, and you promise yourself tomorrow will be different. And that's the loop. We perform for our worth and then react to everyone else's calendar, thus depleting ourselves, which leads us to cope. And then we feel bad for coping, and so we repeat. You think you have a discipline problem, but you actually have a design problem. You do not have a framework that moves you out of coping and into life-giving rhythms. And here's why this loop hits women like you the hardest. You're good at pushing through. You're dependable. You're productive. You're the one who gets it done. But that strength becomes a trap when you use it to outrun your limits. At work, you are rewarded for always being on. At home, you're expected to always be present. So you toggle between the two until you're just running on fumes. I see it all the time. The most effective and I would say healthy leaders are not necessarily the ones working the hardest. They are the ones who have systems in place to sustain their results. But most women have not been taught to lead their own lives this way. You have a strategy for your team, for your work, for the projects you're working on, but you have no operating system for your soul. Coping feels harmless in the moment. And honestly, a lot of those things are good things. I love a glass of wine or a good show or scrolling through all the reels my husband and my best friend have sent me throughout the day. But the question is, are those things restoring you? Because when those habits become your only outlet, they start costing you. They cost you clarity, because distraction keeps you from hearing your own thoughts. They cost you confidence, because every unkept promise to yourself chips away at trust that you are actually the person you want to be. They cost you connection, because the more you numb, the less you notice the people right in front of you. And they cost you peace, because your body never actually gets the restoration it needs. You can't outrest misalignment, You can't out vacation a system problem. If you do not have rhythms that refill you and renew you, you will always fall back into routines that only relieve you. So that is why so many high capacity women live in constant fatigue. They're not lazy. They're living without a framework. Your identity determines your activity. So many of my clients tell me, I don't even know who I am anymore. I don't know what I like or what I'm good at. When you've been sprinting on hustle and reacting to everyone else's priorities, you forget your own. And when you forget who you are, you default to what feels good in the moment instead of what is actually good for you. When your mind and your body are tired or lonely or overstimulated, the world will gladly hand you its version of relief. The algorithm will tell you how to spend your time. Culture will tell you what success should look like. But do you actually want to look like the rest of the world? Or do you want to live a life that aligns with who you are and who you were created to be? Rediscovering who you are, what fuels you, what restores you, it is not luxury, it is leadership, because clarity of identity creates clarity of roles and clarity of rhythm. And that is what moves you out of coping and into greater capacity. So this week, don't try to fix it yet. Just notice when you reach for your phone, what emotion are you avoiding? When you say yes to something you didn't actually want to do, what story are you believing about yourself? When you collapse at the end of the day, what kind of rest are you craving? Relief or renewal? It's not self-shame or self-loathing. It's stewardship. Every leader knows before you can build a new system, you have to audit the one that you're currently running. And whether you realize it or not, you already have an operating system. So the question is, do you want to run your life through a system you've intentionally designed, or one that you default to because it's the only way you know? If your worth defaults to performance and your time to reactivity and your energy to coping, what you're missing is not discipline, it is design. You need a values-based operating system that defines success, protects priorities, and restores your capacity. Because without it, life will always pull you back into that coping loop. And that's exactly what the aligned action framework was built to do. Help you move from reactive and depleted to intentional and deeply rooted. Here's why this matters so much to me. Our lives were meant to be enjoyed, not lived in constant exhaustion, not earned through perfection, but enjoyed fully, freely, with purpose. We live in one of the most privileged times and places in history, and yet so many of us are too depleted to enjoy it. Why? Because we are trying to gain the world and lose our souls in the process. Jesus said in Galatians 5:1, it's my favorite verse, it is for freedom's sake that Christ has set us free. And that means you don't have to earn rest. You don't have to prove your worth before you enjoy your life. Work was always part of God's design. He placed Adam in the garden to cultivate and create. And he also modeled for us Sabbath, not because he, God, was tired. He doesn't tire, but because he knew when to say enough. And that's what rest does. It reminds us that the world doesn't actually depend on us. Sabbath is not just a Sunday thing. It's a posture. It's saying, I'm going to work hard, but I will not hustle for my worth. I will create rhythms that renew me, not coping loops that actually drain me. Because God doesn't just want you to be productive. He wants you to be whole. So when we talk about restoration, what does that actually look like? It's not fancy, typically. It's usually kind of ordinary or small. For me, it's a cozy drink and a good book before bed. It's a walk around our property with a podcast or sending memos, voice memos to friends. It's sitting on the back porch. In the morning, we have this great back porch and the sun comes up over that side of the house. And so if I get to drop the kids off a little early and get back there, have some time before the day starts, I'll go back there. I'll leave my phone inside and set a timer on my watch and just go and sit and close my eyes, and the sun comes up. I can feel it on my face, kind of nod off. It's really nice. I really like to work with my hands. So sometimes to do something fun or restorative, I'll do some kind of craft, especially around the holidays. I love a good craft. I keep getting targeted for these embroidery kits. I think I'm going to try one of those around the holidays now that it gets nighttime at 5 o'clock. For you, maybe it's cooking. Maybe you love to cook, or painting, watercolors. Maybe you like to run. All of my clients seem to like to run marathons. I think it's a high capacity woman thing. Maybe you like to play piano or garden, or I don't know, something that fills your cup just because you love it. You're not trying to prove anything, not trying to do anything productive. You just like it. That's the goal. These are not rewards for finishing your list. They are rhythms that renew your soul so that you can keep doing the work you are called to do with peace and presence. Not just survive your life, but actually enjoy it. Not to keep coping, but to live rooted and restored. Of course, everything comes back to my kids. When I think about my kids, it always puts things in perspective for me, because when I start skipping my own restorative rhythms, the things I know will fill my cup, I think about two things. First, the kind of mom I'm being when I'm depleted. I'm snapping more, I'm shorter, my mind is elsewhere. I imagine it's not super fun to be around. Jeff Henderson says, "What's it like to be on the other side of me?" I don't imagine it's fun to be on the other side of that kind of mom. And then second, what am I modeling for them? Am I showing them that they have to earn rest? Do I want them believing that they have to do and earn first before they can just enjoy themselves? Do I want them to learn that caring for your soul is part of faithful stewardship? Do I want to teach them how to care for their souls when I am no longer around to do it? I don't want them to think that rest is something you deserve after you've done enough. I want them to know that restorative rhythms and doing things they enjoy just because they like it is something they receive because they're loved. And so are you. So this week, pay attention. When you feel that tug to scroll or pour or overwork, pause and ask, what am I really craving? Is it relief or is it renewal? You do not have to earn the right to rest, the right to enjoy this one precious life. You just have to choose it. Next week, we are pulling back the curtain on the framework that helps you do exactly that. We're going to dig into the aligned action framework, starting with our mindset, the engine that makes it all go, and why minding the thoughts that you think is the best place to start. You were never meant to get through your days. You were meant to live them abundantly, fully, freely, and aligned with who you are. If you enjoyed today's podcast, send it to a friend. Let them know that they are fully free to live a life that they actually enjoy. In fact, it's part of stewarding the life they have. And if you enjoyed today's conversation, I would love for you to leave a 5-star review. It's actually helpful. I've listened to podcasts and heard people say that for years and years and years and thought maybe later. And now I am a full reviewer because I know that it helps these podcasts get to the ears that need to hear them. See you next week.